Welcome to another Triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
We are back with another episode of another Triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Endurance, and a little bit of this coming to you from Kona, Hawaii. It is race week for the IRONMAN World Championships, but before we talk all things Kona, we're going to jump into some of the last week's race results, and of course our usual segments, What the F, and social media post of the week. So let's get right in, because I'm sure we'll have tons to talk about on the Kona front. Let's start with you, Fede. How is training, racing, life going these days?
Hey guys, happy to be back on the pod, and training's been going well, just rebuilding everything. Talked to my coach, and we are doing one late season race, which we're gonna, treat it as a first race of the season, because, next year, 70.3 Worlds is in December, so we want to build towards that, and we want to split the season in two. Still on the fence if I'm gonna do Kona or not, but the goal is to do well at 70.3 Worlds, which is why I'm racing Indian Wells with the crew, and yeah. And
I'm sure there was no pressure with that at all.
No pressure at all, and been building towards that. And a lot of testing is going to happen in the next few days. So excited about that. What about you guys?
Well, first off, it's great to hear you're coming to Indian Wells. If you guys don't know, we're having a big Mana team kind of meet up race down there. And Fede was being pressured quite a bit by the rest of the team to come out and race with us. So it's going to be a blast to have a ton of the team out there and out on course, all suffering together.
Absolutely.
Very good. How about you, Josh? What's going on in your world?
Oh, just another good week of training. I'm now 20 days away from my next marathon. So got a good week of work on the bike. I did a bunch of rowing. I actually took a rowing class in Boston to help support a friend who's launching a product. So did that on Saturday morning, which was really cool to get out in the community and do a live class. It was a row boot camp, which was fun. Had some good long hard rides this week, pushing a lot of threshold stuff. I actually posted that for the first time in a long time. I actually couldn't hit the zones, and I think a lot of it was due to the running that I've been doing and pushing, and I actually backed off a little bit of the zone 4 stuff that I was doing. Had a great ride. It was like an hour and 45-minute ride. So I was pushing hard, but I stayed in it, and I didn't back off the workout, and did a lot of zone 3 work in replace of it, and just got through the ride. So I felt good after that, getting through there. And I knew I had a long run on Sunday, and that was my focus, and it needs to be right now. So getting through that, had a good recovery Saturday night, and felt awesome yesterday, and went out for a solo run in the neighborhood. The weather was great. I was like, now I know why everyone loves fall marathons and fall running. It was just really nice. It was about 50 something degrees when I started, and somewhat cloudy, partly cloudy, and the humidity was going to drop throughout the morning. So I got almost 19 and a half miles in about 2 hours and 45 minutes, and just had a great run. And nutrition was spot on. Took a couple extra gels just in case. Had a ton of salt in my vest, and the vest worked. My hydration pack worked, and I wish it was a race day. If it was a race day, it would have been a great marathon.
That's wicked. No, and good job listening to your body there, especially like the run training definitely beats your legs up a lot more than triathlon training. You don't get that reprieve, and I'm sure you're putting in a lot more run miles than you would be otherwise building up for a triathlon. So definitely makes some of those higher zones a little bit harder, but sounds like you nailed it focusing on that long run, because that's definitely the important part when you're training for a marathon.
Yeah, and then you just like you remember when you're out for your long run, and I'm passing by the cow fields and all this. I'm like, what am I doing out here? And then you remember you've got all these friends who are running in Chicago and running a full marathon and trying to beat. I mean, unbelievable stories yesterday too. A, with the world record, and B, with Dez and just with some of those stories, and everyone setting PRs. So it was like PR Central in Chicago yesterday. So I was like, I got to finish my run.
Definitely getting some inspiration there, which is wicked.
Yeah, absolutely. So how's life in Kona? You got over there, what, late Friday night?
Yeah, I got in late Friday. That first day was a little jet lagged and tired in there because it ended up being I had the most roundabout route, which was not great, but I booked my flights pretty late thinking that I might be doing something else. So got organized on Saturday, immediately had some bike issues. That was fun. Built up my bike out of the box and had my front brake was kind of squealing, but awesome. Like, luckily there's this awesome bike shop here at Bike World. Went over there, started my ride, picked up some CO2 and spare tubes, and they were able to fix up my bike right away. Like, walked in the door, they're like, yeah, no, we can fix that up for you, no charge. It was really cool to see. And then head out to the lava fields and got a flat 15 minutes in. Got a couple 100 meters down the road and got another flat. So,
Oh no.
like this giant staple the first time, and then a piece of wire the second time. I'm just like, you have to be kidding me. And did not, well, I figured for an hour shakeout spin, probably wouldn't need more than one tube and tire and CO2. I was wrong. So luckily have some friends down here. I traveled down by myself, but got a bunch of friends on the island. So called for a pickup and was supposed to do a shakeout run, but I was just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm annoyed. I'm just gonna chill and get set up here, do some grocery shopping. And then, went out the next day and had an awesome ride. Did some kind of like above race pace efforts, and then I had to run off the bike with some faster than race pace stuff just to spark up the legs, and it all felt good. So I'm going to chalk it up to getting the annoying stuff out of the way on Saturday so that next Saturday things all go to plan and it'll be dialed in. No, it's been really good. And today is super easy, chill. I had a swim in the open water, which still freaks me out a bit, swimming in open water without a wetsuit, but I did it. It was good. The fish are really pretty, kind of scary, but got it done. So today is definitely a chill day to relax a little in Kona.
Seems like everyone's arriving too. It seems like it's been pretty busy. All the people I know that we're heading there are there. There's a lot of fans that are there. So it seems like that it's definitely picking up. That's for sure. I mean,
it is.
Publicity, everything.
You know, and it's so fun down here. Like, I haven't left my Airbnb without running into a few people that I recognize from some races somewhere in the world. So it's a lot of fun because everyone comes down to the island. I have one of my first tri team I joined, MX Endurance. I had one of my friends from there who we met 10 years ago and have met up all over the world, Bex. So we've been having some fun riding around and cruising around together. And it's just, yeah, it's fun with this crazy sport. You meet so many people either through social media or through different races. Actually, there's this one woman who I keep running into in the most bizarre ways. So I first met her when we were in Kona in 2019. Happened to sit down next to her while we were waiting for the swim to start, and we started chatting and stuff and did our swim. I met her again a year later in Penticton, not anywhere around the IRONMAN that's there, was just there for a random weekend, and she doesn't even live there, and we ran into each other on the beach there. And then when I did Chattanooga last year, happened to walk into the award ceremony and sit down, and she sat down at the table, we turned and recognized each other. And now she's staying in the next apartment building. I'm like, this is so bizarre. We just randomly keep running into each other all over the place.
That's crazy. You might want to exchange numbers and try to plan something for the future.
I'm sure we'd never be able to make it line up. It's just randomness.
So true. Well, here's the question that I think Fede and I would like to know is how many people are talking about another triathlon podcast? Is anyone listening?
I've had 3 people so far come up and say they listen to the podcast on there. So it was very cool to hear that people are actually listening. We're not just shouting into the void, which makes it a lot more fun. No, I'm getting some good response there. And and then also went down to see the Huala practice swim yesterday. I was telling you guys I did not swim because I'm not going to swim more than I have to. But it was cool to see all the pros kind of lining up in there. And of course, no surprise, Lucy Charles took it out by a fair bit in there. So I think that's a bit of foreshadowing of what we can expect to see race day.
Yeah, a lot of people trying to catch on to her feet.
Oh man, no chance.
Yeah. Trying was the key word there.
Yeah, totally. No, it's been good. Definitely starting to see like the island is getting busy this next couple days. There's going to be more and more people arriving in here and lots more events going on. And ran into the feisty women crew too. They're out here cheering everyone on, and it is a really good vibe. The IRONMAN Village will open up tomorrow, so go kind of check out what sponsors are actually down here. I've already spent way too much money at the IRONMAN merchandise store. So we will go check out the other vendors and see, who's actually coming out to support the women in Kona, which I think will be a big statement of intent.
Yeah.
And you said you picked up like CO2 cartridges and things like that, because I know that question comes up every once in a while. People ask, like, can you travel with them? And people do, and some people just choose to get them when you get there. Is that something you just felt comfortable knowing where you were going, and it was not going to be a big deal to find some, and that's the way you went? Or do you guys travel sometimes with your own?
So they're not allowed on airplanes. So if you do take them in your bike bag, it's hit or miss whether they'll catch them or not. But if they do, they tear your bag apart. So I definitely would not recommend traveling with CO2. One, because it's kind of illegal. And 2, you don't want them tearing your bag apart more than you need to, because I have found U.S. Customs is not the nicest in putting things back. So
yeah, no.
Yeah, I usually carry a pump with me, so I'll bring my actual pump and then buy some CO2 wherever I am.
Yeah. Same here. I don't want to take the risk. I mean, I know some people travel with them, but I'm just not willing for the customs to tear down my bike box and everything just for a CO2. So it just gives me peace of mind. Also, pro tip: if your shifting is electronic, make sure you remove all the batteries and you take those with you in your carry-on, because batteries usually throw off customs agents just as much as CO2. So if you don't want them to touch your bike, make sure you take your batteries and everything with you.
Good call. Yeah, I even took off my batteries and then my Garmin pedals too, just to make sure there's no issues. Now, if you have like Di2 in your bike, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but if you have something like SRAM where there are external batteries that come on and off and can be charged, definitely take those out of there. Like Fede said, just avoid the hassle, because they are not the most gentle with bicycles.
Yeah.
And one thing that I saw was really cool at the Kona airport this time was, before they'd let you take your bike at baggage check, they were checking IDs to make sure that everyone was getting the right bike and the bike they should get. So that was a lot of peace of mind. It took a long time, but I'd rather have that than have someone run off with my bike, or even mistakenly. Like, I went up because I thought one bike box was mine, and it wasn't, because it was the exact same bike box, right? So that was kind of nice to see that they're actually making sure people run off with the bike they're supposed to.
Nice.
Well, that's good to hear, and a reminder to put something on your bike box that is definitely a sign that it is yours too, as well, like you would with luggage and a bandana or something like that. But I've used Tri-Bike Transport too. So if you find an Ironman race or a race that they're doing too, it's another option that for me, traveling across the country, it was so worth the peace of mind to know. Now, it stinks not having your bike for a few weeks. But if you're indoors and got a trainer and things like that, okay, you're good. But to have that peace of mind and then drop a little extra money and they pick up the bike in transition too, and I didn't even have to go back to get it.
Oh,
and
nice.
rush back. So
got
to enjoy like after the race.
That's awesome that they pick it up afterwards. And then,
Everything. The only thing I was concerned about was, are they going to grab everything that I've now thrown there for the last couple of weeks?
Yeah.
And am I going to get my wetsuit back? Am I going to get my bike helmet back and things like that? And literally everything made it.
That's wicked.
So they're a great service. They work with Ironman on a number of the races. So, and other triathlons. So great service for them. And not sponsored. I just wanted to make sure people understood that option is out there as well, because it takes a lot of the angst away that we've seen some professionals even have at airports.
Yes. No, absolutely. And I was very happy once again to have my air tag, because my bike box was the last bike box on a separate truck. So my bike box came like 5 minutes after the last bike box was gone. I'm like, is it coming? Is it here? But you could see from the air tag it was in Kona, but it was a little bit stressing for a minute there. But speaking of sponsors, I got my new race kit yesterday, which I am so about. Yes. Was able to design a custom kit through Mana Endurance or Mana Apparel, and I am absolutely obsessed with it. It's fun to have something that I kind of had this idea in my head, drew it out, and now I get to see it in person. So I'm super stoked.
You're gonna blend right in.
Totally. And then also have the Aero calf sleeves. So we'll see how much faster it is without Aero calf sleeves, and if I can get them on while wet, running out of the water. So we shall see. But doing everything I can to go fast. You know what? I've mentioned it before. I'm not quite as fit as I was last time, but I will have no excuses from an equipment and apparel side. I am definitely locked and loaded for a fast day. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Just get through that swim and get on the bike and have fun. You're gonna have a great day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Should be good. Yeah, and we'll see how the winds go. It was funny. Did like a 2-hour ride, and we were going to start earlier, and then island time, we just procrastinated for a few hours. But when we started, there was like no wind, and it was just awesome. Cruising, like flying down the roads on Kona, smooth roads, and no wind. You just felt amazing. But then the last little bit, the wind started to kick up and pick up pretty good. And of course, it was like a headwind back the last like 15K. And it was just like, oh, yeah. And you just see your average face go, pew. You're like, oh, right. Yeah, this is what I remember. So it'll definitely be very wind dependent on what those bike speeds look like.
I thought about you on my run yesterday because of the wind. I was like, I'm getting like a little bit of gust from the passing tropical whatever it was going by. And I'm like, oh, and I'm running into a headwind going up a hill. I did about 1,500 feet of elevation yesterday, so that was good training.
Wow, that's some solid elevation.
No, it was a good run. And it ended up being the elevation came a lot of times on my 2 7-minute interval pushes that I had on the back half. So I was pushing some good run power for sure. But it was no, I thought about you on the winds. It was like, again, another reason. Find those things to keep you going.
Totally.
Like somebody else out there's got to deal with worse. So appreciate that.
You're welcome. Glad my suffering could help. Well, let's dive into it. We got lots to chat about this week. Why don't we get started with our social media post of the week? Josh, what do you got for us?
So I think we're going to talk a little bit more about how this came about in a little bit with our results, but it's kind of hard to pass up. There weren't many races, but we ended up having a really cool moment this weekend in Malaysia, and with both Ash and Gentle and Josh Amberger at the finish line, celebrating together. Which you're not going to see too often, and just some really cool moments and pictures. So the IRONMAN Tri page, along with Josh's Instagram page, as a collaborator, are showing off a couple pictures that are pretty priceless for the two of them and for the sport. I mean, there's so many couples out there racing. It certainly is couple goals, which is what the caption is. So it'd be really cool to hear how many listeners out there do actually race with a partner, and if you've ever had a moment where you both made the podium at the same race.
Yeah, that'd be very cool. I wonder how often that's happened in the pro field, where you have a couple both taking the wins. That's a pretty special moment and very, very cool to see.
But I know how, I
Yeah.
have no idea how we got there. I haven't really read in much into the race. I didn't watch much of the race with everything I was doing this weekend. So, Fetty, you got to get us there when we get get to that.
Yeah. Have to break it down and dive into that for sure. Well, why don't we go along then with our WTF moment of the week is that the Obsessed Triathlete website is going down. Now, if you don't know this website, it's got a ton of great information and news, but what I really used it for was looking at my own race results, because it was a place where you could search up a name,
Hmm.
search up a race, and see what all the results were in there. So somewhere where I would look at my own results, I would, let's be honest, scope out the competition to see who was racing and what their results looked like. But it was a really great database to see past results and just get some great news and information in there. But unfortunately, the powers that be have decided that they do not want the owner of that site to have access to the live results or the results from their databases, which, I don't know, it sounds like another IRONMAN kind of strong arm thing. They don't want anyone using their data or their name or in any way, shape, or form. But anything, like, it seems so short-sighted, because anything that's promoting the sport and getting people talking about the sport and excited about it, in my eyes, is a good thing. Like, why would you want to cut that off and make it harder for people to see that? Because no one is going through every single Ironman race to look up results that way. But what are you guys' thoughts on it? Yeah, I thought that sucks.
Yeah, it was horrible to see. I mean, I thought the PTO was like an organization that was pro OBS Tri, and like you said, Jenna, I used this website a lot, and I love the platform and the time and effort that they put into it. I research a lot of races and competitors and everything, courses. I just don't see why the big bullies in the sport would want to pursue this, because it was something that was lifting the sport
Hmm.
and something that we all used. So maybe, I mean, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. Maybe they saw that they couldn't, uh, capitalize on on the website that somebody else created, and they just bullied him out. That's just my take on it. But yeah, it was, yeah, disappointing to see that the PTO wouldn't want to keep that website up, because we know how Ironman operates, and maybe they were the ones that were pushing you know the website to shut down. But yeah, just sad. It's sad.
I agree. I mean, everything about it. I think the message that came out, and people that we follow sharing the message, and everyone felt the same way. It seemed like, I mean, what the heck? And it belongs in this category. This is one of the reasons why we have this section and segment of the show. This is the epitome of it. I mean, really, really disappointing for the sport that's trying to grow and bring more people into it that need to find out more information and have access to more information. And yeah, not everyone's going to give you the power numbers, but the race results are race results. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And everyone scouts, and as you get further into the sport, it's good to know and compare and figure things out. So it is disappointing for sure. It's sad, it's upsetting, because who knows where it's really started, who turned this off. But it was sad to see yesterday, and then Fede shared it, and I had just seen it, so it was definitely disappointing, especially for the rest of us in this sport that are trying to help grow it.
Yeah, is there anywhere else where you can see, like, your previous results? I remember there was one other website that did it that I can't remember.
There's one called endurance data, which is pretty good as
Okay.
well. And it was smaller than OBS Try, obviously, but let's just hope that that one keeps running, because it's a pretty cool website, and they have a nice setup, and you can actually calculate your CDA with some numbers that you input there. I mean, it's very basic, but it gives you a rough estimate if you want to get geeky and start testing stuff like CDA. it's a good starting point. Also, race results and the slots that are gonna be in each race for World Championship events. So it's also a pretty good website. I just hope that that one stays up for a while.
Right. Well, even me, like, 10 years in the sport, I don't remember. I've got a terrible memory anyways, but I don't remember what years I did what races. And it was
Yeah.
just nice to kind of have that go-to to see where I was, compare my own race results to. And yeah, hopefully that one stays up. I'm gonna go check it out. I hadn't heard of that one, so that's unfortunate. It just, it's I always think of things as like a rising tide makes all ships rise. So why are we fighting against each other or making it harder for people to get more invested in the sport? That just seems silly to me. But anyways,
Yeah.
we will move on from that and we will start talking race results. There's a little race happening next weekend. I don't know if you guys have heard, but first, let's chat about what's been happening in the run up here. Fede, what is going on in the racing world these days?
Right. Yeah. So like Josh mentioned early on, we we had 70.3 Malaysia, and like Josh said, it was a power couple race, which Josh Amberger took the win on the men's side. Then Kiwi Mike Phillips on second place, and then Ken McDonald from Australia in third place. So it was a Aussie Kiwi Aussie podium, and over the women's side, it was Ashley Gentle. She's on fire, especially over the 100K distance. I mean, 70.3, she's also very dominant, but I think she is an athlete that has nailed the PTO 100K distance. Then on second place, we had,
Absolutely.
yeah, she's just on fire this season. She ran a 119, and Malaysia is pretty hot and humid, so she outran. Fun fact: she outran her partner Josh. Uh,
Oh,
Josh ran a yeah. Josh ran
that's
a
awesome.
119.30 and Ashley ran a 119.14. So yeah, she has bragging rights in the household.
Man, fastest run
Um,
splits in the house. That's got to get.
yeah, absolutely. And then we had
Well, it's
Kiwis.
crazy too because she had a bigger lead too. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's you'd think he might be pushing a little bit more, and she had a nice little cushion.
yeah, no. I mean, Ashley, it's one of those athletes who just can't turn it off. She just knows one gear, and that's 100% all the time. So it just makes for exciting racing. Um, yeah, second place, Kiwi's Amelia Watkinson. Uh, and on third place, we had Lottie Lucas. And this is a very interesting story because she's from Great Britain. However, she races under the UAE flag because she lives there, and I think she gets funded by the UAE government to represent them, just like they do with runners. You see a lot of former Kenyan and Ethiopian runners representing Qatar or UAE or those Middle Eastern countries. This is a case for Lottie. So yeah, Lottie Lucas from Great Britain representing the UAE, coming in third place. And that was pretty much it on the pro side. Special shout out to a buddy of mine, Matt Kerr, former age grouper, now pro athlete, finishing ninth place. So happy to see him there. Yeah, uh, I think that was it over the middle distance racing. We also had another small race in Barcelona, Challenge Barcelona, and that was a 1500-meter swim, 60K bike, and 15K run. And it was a very interesting race because it was the return of Alistair Brownlee. He he looked healthy, he looked fast, fit, and he came in second place, just seconds, like 17 seconds from the winner, Yuri Kloon from the Netherlands, and then another British athlete, Willie Hirsch, in third place. But yeah, Alistair looked happy to be back racing and healthy, and I think we're going to see a lot more of Ali coming 2024.
Yeah, I would love to see it. That's awesome to see, is kind of coming back and getting back into that race shape and healthy enough to do it. Although it looks like he's been doing some fun stuff with
Yeah.
gravel bikes and racing there. It's great to see him back into the triathlon world. You know, what I think for your resume, saying
Yeah.
you beat Alistair in that race. So I'm sure the one will be pretty happy there too.
Not a lot of
No,
people can
that's good.
say that for sure. I beat Alistair Brownlee. That's definitely a highlight on anyone's triathlon resume for sure. But over the women's side, we had Switzerland's Imogen Simmons, then Lucy Buckingham from Great Britain, and then Caroline Pole from Great Britain as well. And this was just a dominant race from Imogen. She is an Uber biker, and she's been getting the run right at the right time and place. So yeah, kudos, Imogen, for taking the win in Barcelona. We had a few World Cups and smaller races in the WTCS short distance world, but we don't need to talk about those now that the season's pretty much ended, and now everybody's just chasing points. There's not a lot of big races until next year on the short course scene, and all the roads now lead to Kona, I guess.
Yeah, and I think actually in the short course we'll be having Neom coming up in a couple weeks, the Super League race, which will be interesting to see there. But yeah, I think the points chase for the Olympics is not too hot and heavy right now until the new year, but there's a few smaller races.
Yeah.
And then I guess you just got everyone who's not in Kona and Super League just now starting to try and grab maybe another Ironman and grab a spot for next year. And you're going to start seeing that shift is going to come real quick as soon as Kona's over into 2024 qualifying.
Definitely, yeah, and a few pros, already getting at it. So it'll be interesting to see. Next year, I think it'll be a bit of a quieter year with the Olympics, but it's always fun seeing after the Olympics and the year afterwards, seeing all the short course athletes coming in, trying middle distance and long distance and totally switching it up. But you know what we are going to see is a short course athlete out here in Kona with Taylor Knibb racing. There's been a lot of chatter about her on the island here. People are really starting to debate whether she will be in the running or not. It's going to be interesting. But how about we start off with, I'll give you a rundown of some of the top names that are going to be racing. Now, this is as per Tri Rating. I think you guys might be surprised who his top picks are for the top 10, especially the top 5. So according to Tri Rating, the favorites for this race are Chelsea Sodaro, number 1, Annie Haug, 2, Daniela Reef in 3rd, Taylor Knibb in 4th, he's got her ranked as, and then Lucy Charles Barclay in 5th, Laura Phillip, Katrina Matthews, Sarah True, Sky Munch, Vanilla Langridge, and there's so many more incredible women on this list. But looking at that top 10, I was kind of surprised to see that one putting Lucy Charles in 5th when she is the queen of 2nd place in Kona, which I don't know if that's a good advice, but I would definitely think she'd be ranked higher than 5th. And then Taylor Knibb, who has never taken on the island, has never done an Ironman, being ranked up in 4th. I found that super surprising. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
she's earned it, except we don't know the distance, and we don't know how she's going to pull up at the end of the run. I think she'll probably get through the swim. We all think very well. She's had a great career swimming. We all know she can bike. I think it comes down to the marathon.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. And she was pretty far up there in the Huala swim. I think she was 4th or top 5 in there at least. So she can definitely swim the distance well. And we know she'll just ride on the bike. And actually, I heard an interview with her where apparently, like, they were talking about this pretty early on, about her possibly doing the Ironman World Champs. Pretty much said to her coaches, like, if I qualify for Paris and get a spot for Kona, can I do Kona? And they're like, oh, yeah, we'll worry about that if it comes to that kind of thing. And it came to that. So once she ticked off Paris, the longer training rides started going towards Kona. So that was kind of interesting to hear, and definitely puts her up the ranks a little bit farther in my mind that she's actually been putting in some focused, long training rides on that TT bike to get ready for this.
I think she said something like if she had to go to Ponte Vedra, she wouldn't be in Kona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, also the rankings, they take into consideration the latest race results. And we know Lucy has been struggling with injury this year, which is, I think, probably why the likes of Taylor are up there above Lucy. But it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I'm going to throw it up there. It wouldn't surprise me a single bit if Taylor Neve finishes higher than Lucy on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the funny part. It really, wouldn't surprise me either. It's really curious to see how that marathon goes. So here's some of it was funny. I saw a quote from Kat Matthews saying that she thinks it's going to take like a 2:45 marathon run to win it, which is like, I think that's like 5 minutes faster than Rinny ran, and she had the fastest run time there. So we're talking taking 5 minutes off the fastest run in Kona, which now that we're seeing with these super shoes, like Rinny wasn't running in the super shoes. It's not entirely out of the realm of possibility here now, but if you look at TriRatings rankings and stuff, they have the fastest run time is like 2:53 with Annie Haug at 2:53:47. So it'll be interesting if we have, if we see some of those run time. It's hard to picture that fast in the marathon here. I mean, if anyone can do it, some of the women in this field can, but 2:45, that is smoking.
Yeah, but like you said, these times are just getting crazier and crazier because of the technology and in the shoes. I mean, like we talked about at the beginning, the marathon. I mean, we're about to see a sub 2 hour in a major marathon. I mean, it's insane that
it's
is
coming.
Something we're talking about. And these shoes, the Nike, the Vaporflies, the Alpha Flies, this new Adidas shoe, that weighs nothing. And some of the stuff that On's throwing out there, and go on running. I got a pair coming this week, so of the Cloud.
Yeah, got lucky there.
Yeah. You don't win many contests in life, but I won that one, and I'm looking forward to running in those.
Yeah, Josh won some free on running Cloud Boom Echoes, which will be really super fast. I like those shoes. They're really, really springy.
Yeah, so I used my new Cloud Monsters yesterday to do my long run, which were going to be my race shoe, and now I can use them for those long training runs and save the Cloud Booms for race time.
Yeah, they're wicked fast, especially if you go from the Monster to those. You're going to notice a big difference in there.
All right. Refocus my game plan for Marine Corps.
So when we look at this race here, we have, like we mentioned, Lucy Charles Barclay. She had the fastest swim at the Huala Swim. She's definitely going to be first out of the water. Like, it's hard to picture her not being in there. I'm just trying to see what other super swimmers we have here. Lauren Brandon, if she's swimming really well, she'll be right up there. She kind of gave
Lauren Brandon,
Lucy in the past. Then that we're looking a couple minutes down to everyone else, with kind of Taylor Knibb being the closest after her and Lauren Brandon. So it'll be interesting to see if Lucy really pushes that swim to try to get some time on everyone else on the bike to give her a little bit of breathing room. You'd have to assume she does. Like, her biking has been really, she's gotten a lot stronger in the last few years, but still, when you're talking Taylor Knibb with a predicted 4:46, 2 minutes faster, that need all the time you can get in that swim.
It's interesting. I mean, when you go the full long distance, it almost seems like there's definitely a lot more at the 70.3 distance with the swim, and the pack, that front pack can be a little deeper. You get more athletes doing 70.3. But when you get to the Ironman distance, how much are they putting into the swim portion of it when they know they got 112 miles on a bike that could really make the difference? So, God bless Lucy. I mean, we all wish we could do it, but how big of a difference? We'll find out again Saturday.
I don't see Lucy breaking away. I think she's gonna play it smart because I believe she knows she's not gonna be able to drop Taylor because Taylor is a very smart racer and she's gonna be on her feet. I guarantee you that. She's not gonna miss the front pack. And if Lucy wants to get away, she's gonna pay it later on the back half of the bike ride and the marathon. So I don't. I mean, this is just my opinion. I don't see Lucy coming out of the water with a massive, massive gap.
Really? That's
What
interesting.
is the weather forecast looking like, Jenna? Because now, I mean, we're within a window where you can start actually looking at it.
See, you know what? I've been looking at the weather forecast, at least on the app I have in my phone, and it always says about the same, and it never looks too crazy. But then, like every day, it's like 2 to 7 mile per hour winds. Definitely has not been the case in the afternoon. So the forecast is looking the same as every other day. What is it in Fahrenheit? It's like high 20s. So, looking at, yeah, even here it says like mid 80s, but it's definitely been a lot hotter than that on the ground. So,
Oh yeah,
do
yeah.
not know. Yeah, it
I mean,
everything it says nothing crazy, but then you get out there and you're like, yeah, no, this isn't that.
here's the thing with Hawaii for our listeners, and you know, uh, Hawaii is a unique place because it has microclimates. It has a lot of mini climate zones around the island. So the
Mhm.
the weather forecast you see when you pull up your phone and Google Kona weather, it's an average from everything. But if you want to get super specific, you need to go to like windy.com and research the specific area at a specific time zone. And even then, Hawaii is unpredictable.
I'm
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
looking at my Windy app right now because that's what I was.
Mm,
That's the one that I use living in the
yeah,
Virgin Islands and things like that. When you live in a tropical island, you gotta get into the windy world.
yeah,
See, this stuff,
absolutely.
I didn't even know about that. Yeah, because it was saying like 7 mile per hour winds, and I'm on the bike, and I'm like, I'm being like
Nah.
tossed to the side. This is not 7 mile per hour wind.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah. You need to go on
It
windy and
actually
go
looks
crap.
really
research.
good. Yeah, Saturday looks pretty good windy wise.
There you go. What's
Yeah.
could you check what's the wind looking like up in Waikoloa and Kauai, like around, let's say, 9 a.m. up to like noon-ish?
It's all
S-
blue. I mean, it's not even
Oh,
in
perfect.
it's not even
Wow.
in the green.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
That can make for a fast day.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Blowing
Definitely.
offshore, it looks like mostly.
Well, yeah, it's so
That's
funny. The wind makes such a drastic difference here.
yeah.
Like it is absolutely insane. And it tends to be the last little while, it seems to be like calm winds in the morning and then a headwind heading back. So the earlier you can get back, the better. So I'm happy to have a little bit earlier start than what I have
Yeah.
had previously. Hopefully the winds will play nice. Except it's funny, then you get into the energy lab and you probably want a little bit more wind because it just gets.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Man, I think I'm gonna go run in the energy lab tomorrow, like in the heat of the day, and get a feel for what it
Yeah,
feels like.
just oh God, just make sure you have plenty of liquid and like yeah, because you don't want to be
Yes,
burning all your matches over there. Just to get a feel for the for how hot it's gonna feel like. Just yeah, because oh
very true.
man, that place is hot.
Yeah, this is talking like a couple mile an hour wind. So yeah, you're definitely going to need some extra salt and some extra electrolytes
Mhm.
and fluid for sure.
Which it's funny, it's almost harder to drink more here. So, like where I am, it's so crazy dry. Like the air is insanely dry. So I'm always thirsty all the time. But the humidity in the air here, I'm just not as thirsty as I usually am. So it's like an actual, I have to make an effort to drink when usually I'm just
Mm. Yeah.
liquids all the time. So definitely have to stay on top of that. It's funny, I
And do
have
you have
Yeah.
like set intervals? Go ahead, Jen.
no, I'm definitely more of a race by feel kind of person. Yeah, I just like to kind of listen to my body a little bit more than kind of following intervals,
Yeah.
because that just annoys me, to be honest.
And you don't know where those intervals are going to fall. I think we've talked about that before. Like the topography of the course is going to dictate where you take your fueling and things like that.
Yeah, but if you have had issues with like cramping and dehydration and fueling in the past, absolutely intervals are a great way to make sure that you stay on top of it. Yeah, it's just after this many races now, it's like, okay, I kind of know what my body needs.
I actually yesterday
it should be good. It was funny, my notes for today were... What was that?
Yesterday on my long run, I was going to say I actually wore arm sleeves for the first time, and they were black. And I'd say 8, 9, 10 miles in, and on a cool day, I could already see the salt stains coming, and I was like, I'm glad I prepared for that, but I wasn't sweating. My heart rate was low, everything, but it's still, if you're sweating, if you're a salty person, it's coming through no matter what the temperature.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, it's funny, some of the salty, like the salt stains and stuff are not like you are a salty sweater, but some of that comes from the more salt you take on, the more salt you're going to sweat out there, just because your body's always looking for that homeostasis in there. So it can definitely be a sign that you are a salty sweater, but also that your body is just trying to regulate that sodium amount. But it's one of those things that's so low risk that it's much better to have too much than too little come race day.
Yeah, I actually finished a good amount left.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, it should be an exciting race on the women's side here. I'm really, really excited to go see. Well, I guess I won't really see. Hopefully I go fast enough to see who's in the lead.
You will.
Have an idea what's going on and see a bit of it go down, because it's going to be, I think, an epic showdown. Looking at some of these times and stuff, like, if all the predictions play out what we think, it could come down to a run battle, which would be absolutely epic. I want to see them like battling it out to the last second, going up that last climb, and seeing who makes it to the finish fastest.
That would be amazing. I mean, speaking of which, now this week we're all geeking out with equipment and what every athlete is using on race day. Could you please, if you feel comfortable with that, could you please give us like a rundown on your gear, what shoes you're gonna run in, how's your bike set up, what helmet you're gonna wear, like all of that, all the nerdy details about your racing gear?
Yeah, definitely. I can do that. Always. So I am definitely a geek when it comes to the equipment and tech and gadgets in there and the aerodynamics. I figure if I'm not at my fittest, I'm definitely going to use the equipment that'll make me as fast as possible, especially in the wind here. It makes a big difference. So I'm going to be riding a Factor Hanzo time trial bike. This will be, last year I rode on the Ventum, which it's really great in the crosswinds, but I'm looking forward to this Factor because it handles hills a lot better. It's a lot lighter, which feels a lot better on some of the climbs here, which would be good. And on that, I'm running a SRAM wireless shifting, and I've got some Garmin power meter pedals. Again, pretty much all the equipment I'm using this year is the first time I've used it in here. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what the difference is. And then I'm going to be running a Smith Podium TT time trial helmet. I went back and forth a lot on the Aero Road helmet and glasses or the time trial helmet. It's just because the airflow, there's a little less airflow on a TT helmet than there is something like an Aero Road helmet, but it didn't feel too bad, so I'm going to go with that. And then I'm going to be running, like I said, I've got my new Mana apparel tri-suit, which will be fun to race in, to have something a little personalized there. And I'm also going to be wearing the Mana Aero calf sleeves. So lots of debate on how much faster the calf sleeves make you go, but they definitely feel fast, and they will help protect more of my skin from the sun, which is always a good thing for the pasty Canadian redhead. Other than that, I'm gonna be wearing like a white visor on the run. Went back and forth between a hat and a visor, and just anything where I can get more heat dissipation, I think is good. And then I'm gonna be running for the first time in not on, which has been yeah, that'll be a bit of a change up. I'm going to be wearing the Nike, I think it's the Nike Vaporfly 3s. I don't know, the bright pink ones. Picked up some of the Nike.
The Vaporfly is 3.
Yeah, tried them at a race I did earlier this year. I think I told you guys it was like on sale at the expo, and I was like, oh, I can give these a try, and ran in them for the race. And they just really seem to work well with my strides. So I'm going to give those a try. I've got the Bont cycling shoes, which are really cool. You actually cook them in the oven to mold them even closer to your foot, which is pretty crazy. But I've got those with some specialized custom inserts, like orthotic inserts in there, just to help a little bit with the power transfer, which I found actually makes like a fairly significant difference in how my cycling shoes feel. It completely supports my arch and prevents any kind of knee movement. So I found it's really good for a lot better power transfer, having some of those custom insoles. I don't know, what else do I got? I think that's kind of the main stuff. I've got actually going to be picking up one of our Team Mana sponsors is pretty cool. They're giving us some sailfish swim skins. So I'll test that out in the next couple days and swim in that. And yeah, I think that's about it.
Will you have the shoes up on the pedals ready to go when you get out of the swim, or?
I will not.
Yeah.
So these Bont shoes, I really like how they fit in there, but they have like the twist clasp in there. The what do you call it?
Yeah, the boa system.
Yeah, the boa. Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm not great with that on the bike, so I'm going to go the safe option and not be one of those amateur athletes wobbling back and forth across the right after the mountain line. So I'm going to stick them on and run out with them. I don't find it makes too drastic of a difference, but I will leave them on the bike when I hop off afterwards because they're a lot easier to release. Yeah, they just have this tongue that I've not quite perfected getting dialed in while on the bike.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't perfected it yet, but getting off is definitely a lot easier. So if you can learn that, definitely take advantage of that.
Totally.
Pedal on top of the shoes coming in.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll have to find out. I think before they had bike catchers. I'm not sure if they do or not this year. I should probably eventually go through the athlete guide and all that fun stuff. So get this. They have the only English athlete briefing is like at 8:00 on Thursday. I'm like, I don't plan to be anywhere at 8:00 on Thursday. I'm going to be like in bed at 8:00 on Thursday. I've been totally like keeping my home time zone and like going to sleep at like 8:00 and waking up at 4 a.m. because why not? Just keep it easy for race day.
Yeah, that's true. It'll keep you right there.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's about it for equipment. We've got, I think we've got 7 or 8 Mana Endurance teammates out here racing, some badass women out here. And like I said, a couple of guys from the management team are coming out to support. So we're going to have some fun get-togethers. And if you haven't checked it out already, the Team Mana applications are open right now. And it is really just an incredible team to be a part of. I'll put the application link in the show notes here so you guys can check it out. But they're a fun bunch. And like I said, we've got some pretty active chats in there. We're going to have a ton of people over at IRONMAN Indian Wells, and we target a few races throughout the year. So it's just fun to race with other people and suffer with other people. Awesome. Well, any other last minute thoughts on Kona and the race this weekend, guys?
No, we just have a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it is
Us
beautiful
and
over here.
else.
One of these days, I'm going to go over and just enjoy it.
Yeah. Wait, a Hawaii vacation without your bike box?
Do people do that?
I tried. We just didn't make it.
Oh, fair enough. Awesome. Well, as always, thank you so much, guys, for joining me here on another episode of another Triathlon podcast. I'm sorry. We need to make some predictions before we go. Cannot get away without making the predictions here. So I will let you guys start here. Fede, who do you think takes the win here?
Who do I think takes the win? I mean, I know she's been a little bit off the radar lately, but it's very hard for me to bet against Daniela. So I'm just going to pick
Mhm.
the Angry Bird for the win. So I'm going to say Daniela.
It's, at any time you bet against her, she just seems to come storming through the ranks. So it's hard
Yeah,
not to
yeah,
choose her.
definitely.
How about you, Josh?
Again, this is what a field, and I'm excited for whoever wins. And hey, do we have another Chelsea Sodaro come from out of nowhere and surprise everyone? I think that's a big possibility as well with some of the years that people have been having, and some of the preparations that are being done for races like this. So I still feel like our defending champions kind of being overlooked a little bit, even though we heard earlier that she was rated number one. I still think she's being overlooked, and I think she's being fed by that. And she hasn't had the greatest season, but she's had a decent season. And she was one of the first ones over there, and then left, and then went back. So I'm gonna go with Chelsea.
Okay. Man, I've had such a hard time with this, trying to choose in here. Pardon me, I'd love to see like Kat Matthews just like run through, have a wicked day here. And she definitely has that mental grit and strength to get through and do it. That her and how I think the run is going to be so huge here, and she seems to have been making some great strides on her bike. I think I'm going to go Annie Haug for the win. Yeah, and just curious to see where Taylor Nip ends up in the end of the day. Watch her just have 15 minutes off the front of the bike and cruise in for a win. I would not be surprised.
She's going to be on the podium. I think she's definitely going to be up there on the podium, top 3. That's my take on Taylor.
Yeah, I could see it. That would not surprise me in the least.
No, not at all. We all know how powerful she is, and I mean, she's just starting.
Man, she's so young too. Imagine if she comes top here, go do the Olympics next year, and then she'll win it the year after, or next year after the Olympics. You never know. Insane. Well, as always, thank you guys. We will see how this all shakes out. And yeah, we'll be watching.
Awesome. Well, have a great week of preparation, Jenna.
Thank you
enjoy.
So will do. A little bit more work, and then I'll put the feet up.
Just awesome.